You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, GH fans, this is Belinda, and I just have sad and terrible news to report to you today. Johnny Wactor, the nice-looking young man that played Brando Corbin on General Hospital, has been killed. In a story that's even more tragic than a soap opera, he lost his life senselessly in the early hours of Saturday morning in downtown LA. Since leaving GH after the hook killer murdered his character Brando, Johnny Wactor has been doing various gigs. He's been doing some screenwriting, and he was also working as a bartender. And it was that job that he was leaving at about 3:25 a.m., according to police reports. He's a very nice guy in real life, as well as playing one on the soap. So Johnny was walking a female coworker to her car after the bar had closed, which is a very nice thing to do. And they saw three men around his car. These lowlifes were attempting to steal his catalytic converter, and he interrupted the crime. They shot him, and then these thieves and killers raced away from the scene, and I doubt they'll be found. This is just running amok in a lot of these big cities. They called an ambulance, and Johnny Wactor was taken to the hospital and was declared there in the wee hours before 4 a.m. on Saturday. Johnny's mother, Scarlett Wactor, told TMZ that her son didn't try and fight the thieves, didn't try and stop them, but they shot him anyway. And if you've not heard, the West Coast is rife with catalytic converter thefts. I happen to be in Seattle for a few weeks right now, and they are absolutely rampant here in LA, some of the other cities out here. Each one of these can be sold for a few $100 for the metals inside, but they cost about $1,000 to have one replaced if yours are stolen. Many people can't afford to make the repair after a theft, and it can ruin their lives. They lose jobs, can't pay bills, and then worst case, this horrible scenario here where poor Johnny Wactor has been shot and killed over just this needless casual theft. It's just so awful. I always liked him on General Hospital. If you don't recall, Johnny Wactor was cast as Brando Corbin back in 2020, I think, and his horrible mother, Gladys Corbin, had been cast as well. Back then, he was the fake father of Dev Cersei, that young man that Sonny brought home from overseas with him, who later wound up dying. You may remember Brando was the first fatality of the hook killer. Back then, of course, we didn't know it was Heather Weber that was the hook, and Brando was just a simple garage owner and husband, happily married to Sasha Corbin, but distraught that their son had died not long after she gave birth. So that day at Charlie's Pub, the hook was actually after Josslyn Jacks, but Brando was kind of keeping an eye on her, and he followed her out into the back alley behind Charlie's, and she got away, but he was attacked. And it was also the first time that the hook killer used a toxin on the hook, so that's why he was a fatality. A lot of people were upset that GH killed him off because he was such a nice guy and he and Sasha had such a solid romance. Johnny Wactor's last episode of General Hospital was October 10th, 2022, when residents of Port Charles gathered for Brando's funeral. And now, in real life, Johnny Wactor's life has been cut senselessly short at age 37 in an unspeakable act of violent crime. He has gone too soon and for no reason that makes any sense. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Johnny Wactor's family in this terrible time. Thank you.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.